12 strange places found in Croatia. Number 12. Blue Cave of Bisevo. Croatia is a country located on the eastern side of the Adriatic Sea and is composed of more than 1,000 islands, but only 15 of them are actually inhabited. If you head west to the island of Vis by ferry boat, you'll uncover one of the most mystifying caves in all of Europe. Despite the area being known by fishermen in the country, this wasn't really heard about until 1884 when an easier way to enter was created. Before, someone needed to hold their breath for quite a while and swim underneath a rock wall. Now it's much more tourist-friendly and has somewhat of a scary yet magical vibe to it. It gets the glow from the sun's rays that go into the water and reflect off the limestone at the bottom of the cave. Number 11. King's Landing. Before we get into some of the strangest and scariest places in Croatia, let's take a look at what a touristic city looks like so you can compare and contrast the differences. Either way you look at it, this place is pretty unique. Croatia is a growing tourist destination and it's become extremely popular for residents of bordering countries to come here. Some reasons for this is also Croatia's vast history. This also makes it a perfect setting for the dramatic TV show of Game of Thrones. The beach of Dubrovnik was used in the set of the hit TV series for its imposing fortifications. In the show, you might have known it as Karth, which was an ancient port city. During the 15th and 16th century, it became a rather wealthy town for its strategic location and skilled diplomacy. The walls fortify the town and measure a mile in length. It's fairly easy to believe rather quickly that you've taken the time machine and ended up in the Renaissance. Number 10. Kupari, Croatia. Now imagine that resort city completely abandoned, and it would look a lot like Kupari. If you head just south of the city of Dubrovnik, you'll see a completely different side of this country, one that was nearly destroyed by war. During the Croatian War of Independence from 1991 to 1995, the Croatians declared independence from the rule of Yugoslavia. The Serbians and the Croatians battled it out, and this once resort town became a casualty from the fighting that took place. When the fighting began to get more intense, the hotel guests fled, and the ghosts settled in. The hotel resort was used primarily as a getaway for foreign travelers, as well as Yugoslav armies and their families. But when they were called into battle, they had to fulfill their duties. During the chaos, everything of value was completely looted, and the urban decay has become apparent. Number 9. Daksa Island. This little island at first glance would appear to be a great place to start some kind of resort or tourist attraction. It's only about a mile and a half away from Dubrovnik. It's home to a 19th century lighthouse and even a historical monument. Croatia offered to sell it as a private island at a mysteriously low 2 million euros, which would seem like a bargain for whoever had the money. It turns out this was the island where the Daksa massacre took place in 1944, where men who were accused of collaborating with Nazis were executed. Excavations found 53 skeletons, and only 18 of them have been identified. That's certainly going to make a real estate agent's job a lot more difficult. The locals of Dubrovnik say that the island is still haunted by those who lost their lives here. Number 8. Island of Vis. Croatia is certainly home to some mysterious islands that tend to have spooky histories. It's believed that this island was inhabited as far back as the 4th century BC, and then it was conquered by the Venetians. To this day, the inhabitants here still speak a dialect with Venetian origins. At the beginning of World War II, this site was used as a strategic stronghold by leaders of the Yugoslav partisans. Here we see an entrance to the submarine pen on this island, and remains of military fortifications are still present. Now they are abandoned, and urban explorers can come here to check them out. And if it's too creepy for you, you can always visit a Dalmatian puppy store, which is a dog native to this country. Number 7. Stone Flower Monument. This strange monument is found in Jasenovac and is reported to be on the site of the World War II concentration camp. This was actually operated by Croatian officials when they were collaborating with the Nazis to get rid of the Serbians. The flower is made up of concrete and is built next to a reflecting lake. Everything is okay now, and there certainly is no war in this country. People then head below ground and see a plaque which commemorates victims that are buried there. Estimates of the number of victims certainly vary, but some say as many as 500,000 Serbians lost their lives here. In any case, this is a pretty flower and a nice piece of artwork. Number 6. Broad Fortress. This fortress, found in the city of Slavonski Brod, was a strategic location in order to control trade routes to the east and into Turkey. This was constructed between 1715 to 1780. It housed up to 4,000 soldiers with 150 cannons. Located on the border with Bosnia along the Sava River, it was later used to house soldiers from the Yugoslav army. Today it's abandoned, and it also makes for a perfect place to do a little bit of urban exploring. There's really nothing stopping people from entering besides warning signs that there might be explosives nearby. Parts of it have completely collapsed, but falling roofs is just something you might have to be willing to risk to check out this creepy place. Number 5. Pula Arena. Don't forget what country is right across the Adriatic Sea from Croatia. That's right, Italy is just on the west side of the country of Croatia, and it's a hotspot for Italian tourists. Their Roman ancestors built this magnificently well-preserved arena around 27 BC. There are approximately 200 surviving Roman amphitheaters left in the world, and this is a prime example. Imagine the seats, packed with bloodthirsty crowds, waiting to watch gladiators fight for their lives. Below the arena, there's 15 tunnels which were used to release vicious animals onto the stage. Today, there's a bit less violence, and the arena is used for concerts, Shakespeare plays, and even a hockey match. Number 4. Minefields. There's places in Croatia that aren't necessarily safe for tourists. There's an estimated 50,000 landmines scattered across a 310 square mile area, and signs are placed to warn people. This is mostly found near the border with Serbia, where some of the most intense fighting in the 1990s took place. Some even fear that migrants will unknowingly cross these fields in order to make it to Northern Europe. This tough 14-year-old Croatian boy plays with anti-tank landmines that were found near his village. We assume they've been disarmed, but who knows? Anyways, there's been efforts to clear out these landmines, but it's certainly an expensive and dangerous operation, so just stick to the beaches. Number 3. Podgorica Monument. What might look like the Millennium Falcon is actually a monument to the Croatian Revolution. Whatever it is exactly, we're not really sure, but it looks pretty cool. It's located in eastern Croatia and was designed by Dza Island in 1967. This is actually a pretty unique piece of architecture that you wouldn't really see anywhere else but in Croatia. This overlooks a small man-made lake and was instructed to be built by the longtime dictator known as Tito. Many monuments from this era are lost or poorly preserved, but this one is in good condition compared to other places in the former Yugoslavian states. Number 2. Mirogoj Cemetery. Considered to be one of the most notable landmarks in the capital city of Zagreb, the cemetery welcomes members of diverse religious groups and is notable for its monuments to victims of fascism and terror. The Mirogoj arcade that we see here looks almost like a Roman villa with the vines growing along the pillars and ceiling. The cemetery began construction in 1872 and now includes memorials to some of Croatia's most famous leaders. Number 1. Haludovo Palace Hotel. You certainly won't be checking into the Palace Hotel Resort on the Adriatic Island of Krk. That's because it's closed permanently. The hotel is named after a nearby beach and was certainly a hotspot for the rich and famous to live it up, and for a cheaper price than many destinations in Europe. In fact, this place received an investment of $45 million from the American founder of Penthouse, Bob Guccione, in 1972. It's also in close proximity to a casino. However, this was mainly built to attract foreign gamblers and was somewhat restricted to non-English speakers. Yugoslavia wasn't exactly the hotspot among tourists that it is now, but this Las Vegas-style resort was actually somewhat successful until the war broke out and tourism plummeted. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for new videos every day.